You probably love me already. But if you don't know my name is and I'm starting a series on basically my tween's point of view because I'm 11 and a tween is like 11 to 12. But that's besides the point. So technically, my series is based on a kid's look at parenting, but for me tween because I'm 11 to 12, as you obviously know. So let me just stop rambling on and on and on, and let's get into the video. Okay, so today I'm actually not going to be talking about like the tips. You can go check that out in my other video, which will be in the link right there or down there. And today, if you watched it already, you know, in my last video, I talked about how like you kids for like my age and up, for like teenagers, they need punishments, right there, that's how you spell it, limits, right there, that's how you spell it, and boundaries, right there, that's how you spell it. We're going to be talking about what each of them mean because you might not know. So let me explain it to you. So let's start with punishments. So technically, a punishment is your child misbehaves. And if you don't know what that is, basically your child is doing something that they were told not to do. Like, say you told them to get off their Xbox, but they went back on behind your back. You have to give them a punishment because you as a parent, you're not their BFF. You need to prepare them for life. Like when they get a job, they can't go, when they're told to go home, they can't stay at work or they could get possibly fired. So, basically, that's punishments. So now let's talk about limits because who doesn't love limits? A lot of kids, but that's just kids. So, limits. There's like different types of limits. The first type of limit that I'm going to talk about is basically time limits. Like if you're on the computer and you have 30 minutes, you need to be responsible and rush your time because your time limit is say 6:30 to 7. No extra time. So you need to get on the computer and log off before 7. That's a time limit. Number 2 for limits. A limit is another thing. You are not eligible to do something after a certain time. It means like you have a limit. You're not allowed to do that. So like say you had wanted to go to the movies after 11 o'clock, but you're I'm blinking. What's the word?
Limit?
No.
Curfew?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Technical difficulties. Say your curfew was to be home by 10. The limit is, well, you can't watch a movie. That's that. Okay? And the third limit is going into boundaries, but the third limit is word limits. Because you might not think about this a lot, but a lot of people in this world are Christians and they only want to get better at their vocabulary. And you might understand this as curse words, or how some people say it, cuss words. They're the same thing. Basically, if you don't know what that is, it's like when people say the F word. That's a curse word for like that people aren't able to say. So basically, the limit is to bring back their vocabulary and not say those words, because those are actually very bad words, and I suggest you don't look them up unless you are an adult over 18, because that's an adult. So now, that brings us into boundaries, and what I mean by that, a boundary is like, there is quite a few boundaries, but basically the word boundary is boundary. And like laundry, but boundary. So basically, a boundary is something you are allowed to do, but you are trusted to do certain things on it. So say you were on the computer and you were told to go and look about koala bears because you had to do a resume on it or a report. But you're not allowed to look at images of koala bears. That would be a boundary because it's something you can do, but you took it too far and made it to something that you weren't allowed to do at the time. It wasn't inappropriate and you were allowed to do it, but not at that time. And that's what I think a boundary is. But anyways, let's go. So basically, the first boundary I'm going to talk about, which was from limits, which is like curfew, boundary, stay home, listen to your parents. It will just make it easier for life. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just watch Fuller House. And once you see the kid Max, you will understand what a perfect life almost looks like, because nobody's perfect. The second type of boundary is, I hate to say it, but it is a boundary. Technically, if somebody put a wall at the border so people couldn't exit or get in. That is also another boundary because it's something that you're not allowed to do, which is get in or out of that country. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's called politics. So the third type of boundary is the last type, which is technically like, how do I say this? I don't know how to rephrase it. So basically, the third type of boundary is when you are told to either shape up or shape out. So if you are a parent watching this, you probably know the term. But if you're a kid, it's like basically you need to stop giving attitude and shape it up, or basically get out of the house because you're not welcome there with that attitude. That's what either shape up or shape out means. I blinked a minute, but that's okay. So that was my intermission on, I just messed up the wrong word. Anyways, you know what I mean. That was my little skit about punishments, limits, and boundaries. And no, it's limits, not lemons, because you would understand that by Kimmy Gibbler from Fuller House. Anyways, my name is Ari. Peace out.